I'll give you a little glimpse on what I've been up to. I've been wiring up this pole barn and then installing lights in it, and I'm just about done. I got to, I'll show you how the power comes in and all that stuff here in just a second. But this is in 5 bays, so 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 5 over there. So what I did was, is the middle 3 bays, I put 2 lights. So I got a light there, and then I've got a light right here. So there's 2, 4, 6 lights, and then on the end bays, I put it in the center, up at the top up there. You can see it down there. So that's number 7, and then that one right there is number 8. So these lights that I'm putting in, I had a good friend of mine, and y'all are gonna get to see him on a video here coming up pretty soon. He's owns Williamson Electric here in town, and he recommended me get these. These right here only pull 0.62 amps is all. So you can wire them up with 14 gauge. You could actually wire them up with 16 gauge if you wanted to, but I wired them up with 14, went all the way around it, and I did it from the lift. The lift, I set this lift right here. This building is a 40 by 50, and I can reach the entire building from where I'm sitting right here. So I've got all of my tools in here, lights. The PVC actually worked great for a tool holder for this right here. I don't like it so much for a chainsaw. I'm fixing to change that and do something different. But for holding tools, it's perfect. And then I got tools right there too. So it works great for that. So back years ago, I came off the corner of my shop back there, and there's actually a wire buried underneath my dump trailer, underneath the 5500 and the chipper, the tractor. And then you see that post over there, that cross tie post. I used to have a fence charger right there, mounted that post, and that's what that wire powered, was that fence charger when I had cows. So what I did was, when I buried the water line in going to the dog kennel over there, I ran a tray cable, direct burial tray cable, from there over to the post on the dog pen. Bought the lights, had everything for it, just never have put them under the dog kennel. But I'm fixing to, because I wired that up. So what I did was, I jumped over there, connected it in, and then connected in over here. Got a switch over there with a weatherproof cover on it. So I got that wired in, and then I dug a trench from there to that post there, and you can see where I came up that post with the wire. That's the wire that's going to be feeding it. So it just makes a big circle here, is what it does. So right there is going to be a 3-way switch, and right there is going to be a 3-way switch. I've got it fixed to where this is the slot that I pull the 5500 in. When I come in, I'll be able to roll down my window and reach right out the window and flip the switch on and turn it on. So that's a 2-gang box. It'll have an in-use cover on it. It'll have the switch, and it'll also have a ground fault plug in it right there. And along with that over there too, it'll have a switch and a ground fault plug over there. I could have wired them together, but I didn't. Where one would handle the other one, but I'm putting 2 ground fault plugs in. But anyhow, the only thing I got to do now is I got to come off of that with my tray cable with 3 wires in it from over there. It'll have the traveler in it. It'll come up and come across that angle iron right there, and then drop back down to power the switch over here. And also with a 12 gauge wire that'll tie in right there, that will come off of that plug and come up. I'm actually gonna put a box up there on that front joist, and I'm gonna make a junction. I've got 2 night lights that I'm gonna be installing. There'll be one on that side in the middle, shining back that way, and one over here in the middle shining back this way. Be a dusk to dawn type night light. I'm gonna go with a 200 watt. It's what I'm gonna do on that. But so it'll work with, I'll be able to plug my lift in when I back it in, because I like to back my lift in either of these two slots right here. It does not matter, either one of them. Put my lift in there and I'll be able to plug it up and get it going. So I've the night lights. I've got night lights on my big shop over there, and then I'll have lights under the dog kennel over there too. So that's what I'm doing. And actually, like you see that roll, that Romex right there, that 12 gauge Romex, I'll be coming up that post right there with some PVC conduit, come up, and then we'll jump on. And you can see I ran a wire on the top of those joists right there. Enjoy wiring. I've always been intrigued by electricity and wiring and messing with it. Yesterday's video about the guys with the cutting that tree down, there was a lot of interesting stuff said in the comments, which I knew it would be. But I got a question in the comments, and I actually had some private messages come to me, ask me, why didn't I go over there and stop them guys or help them or something like that? You know, every situation is different. That situation right there was a huge no-no, off limits to me. There was several things going on. Have I ever stopped and helped somebody? I have. I was going down the road not too long ago, and I filmed a little bit of a video of this. I hadn't posted it yet. I seen a guy fooling with a tree, and he was struggling, and I wasn't too far from the house, so I thought, man, I'm gonna go back and get my stuff, and I'm gonna help him. I made me a U-turn, and of course, you don't know how you're gonna be received when you pull up or something like that. So I come back to the house, grabbed some of my stuff that I seen that I could probably need and use, drove back over, pulled up in his driveway, and he kind of glanced up and he seen me. And I thought to myself, you know, how is this gonna go right here? Is he gonna be okay or not or what? So I got out, introduced myself, didn't know the guy, introduced myself, you know, told him, I said, you mind if I help you? And he told me, he looked at me and he said, no, he said, I would appreciate it. So I pulled my saw out, and I was kind of explaining things to him, almost kind of like, you know, a teaching moment. He wasn't doing anything wrong or nothing like that, but he was struggling, you know. He was fooling with a pretty good sized tree. He had a real small saw, probably the smallest steel that they make. And so I made a couple cuts, and then I handed him my saw. I said, I want you to run my saw. I had my 400, and I put it over in his hands, and he had on chaps and everything, and I kind of coached him along, you know. And it was a great moment, really, really good moment. And so when we got done, got everything cut up, he told me, he said, you know, he said, I was really hoping that somebody would come along and kind of help me. He said, I was thinking about it, and he said, I knew that, you know, I may or may not have been doing the right thing. And he said, man, I ain't gonna lie. He said, I was struggling. He said, I couldn't cut through this tree. And he said, the good Lord sent you by here, man, to help me out. I say that to say this, those guys that were working on that tree over there, there's several key factors on that deal. Number one, I was in my silver truck. I didn't have none of my stuff with me. This was in town, probably 10 miles or better from where I live. I didn't have no saws, no rope, no helmet, no nothing with me. I just happened to see them, turned around, and went back to film them. Number two is I looked up that tree. You remember I said that there was a wedge stuck in that tree, probably about three foot from down from the top. Well, that wedge was stuck in a cut, so I didn't know what all had been cut or had been compromised on that tree. Obviously, there was some stuff that was compromised on that tree. And, you know, without me seeing it from start to finish, You know, had I put a rope up in it or something like that, you know, I may have been hanging on something that wasn't but about that thick. And, you know, for me to put myself in jeopardy like that was just a huge no-no. I don't think with those guys, I don't think I would have been received too well. I think that was one of those deals where it was just too far, too gone already. And the only thing you can do is just sit there and watch it play out. Hope that nobody gets hurt or injured or property gets damaged or something like that. The fence did get broke. They did break that wooden fence, that privacy fence right there. It got broke in the process. But, you know, it was just one of those deals to where it was better off for me to be a spectator and watch. There was 3 of them, 1 of me, and who was I to walk up to them? You know, I didn't have no dog in the hunt. It wasn't my property, nothing, no bearing on me or anything like that. So I've had a lot of people ask about chainsaw classes and stuff like that. This spring has just been, I couldn't do it because Emma was a senior playing ball. She finished up ball last Friday night, just a few days ago. Today's Wednesday, that was Friday night. And she graduates high school this coming Friday night. So this week here is slammed with stuff. I didn't plan any tree jobs this week. I was going to get this wrapped up right here, but I am going to go here. I've got one right up the road that I'm going to do here in just a little bit. When I get this last wire run, I'm going to go do that tree job, get it done. It won't take me long to do it. And so then Thursday night is awards night at New Hope for the seniors. And then Friday night is graduation. So Emma her class has 184 classmates in it. And Emma is a salutatorian. She finished number 2 this year. I will be doing some filming for the graduation, and I filmed some other stuff too. Very proud of Emma. I'm surprised she was able to pull that off because she's the president of student council, numerous other things that she was involved in, plus playing softball this year. And I think they played upwards around 30 games or so, something like that, and all the traveling with all that stuff. And so for her to be able to pull that off, that was her goal, was to do that, finish 1 or 2 in her class. I'm very proud of her. And so, like I said, y'all see some of that. So go Emma. Appreciate y'all watching. Thank y'all so much for tuning in each day. A little bit different video today, but it is what it is. Y'all be good. We'll catch y'all later. Tell them bye, Taters, Sadie. Later, Taters.